Hi everyone, it's Rena from Perth IELTS and PTE Tutoring. I am a IELTS and PTE academic tutor based in Perth, Western Australia, and welcome to today's tute and demonstration. Sorry about the long wait for an upload. It was school holidays and term 4 has just started for 2024, and I would like to welcome all of you back. So, today's tute is all about reading fill in the blanks and writing fill in the blanks. Before I go on, as usual, my standard rant is stop trying to cheat the system, stop trying to cheat the AI. You want to pass this test, you got to get good at English, really good at English. Stop looking for tips, tricks, hacks, trying to cheat the system because there are universities who have caught on. Over east in Sydney, some universities have increased their entry requirements for PTE, but not adjusted their IELTS requirements. Why? Because IELTS is proving to be a really, really good assessment of English proficiency, while PTE seems to be a little bit compromisable because there are tons of tutors out there and teachers, all well meaning, they want you to be successful, but they're showing you how to kind of cheat the system. Of course, the exam itself has its own flaws. The pitch issues related to PTE academic speaking are terrible. It could be solved by just having a human being test people. That would be so much easier. But, anyways, you have chosen to do PTE, and let's get on with it. Do the right thing. That's all I'm going to say. Do the right thing. You want to pass this test, you want to ace it, you want to go to university here in Australia, please, please, please work really hard on improving your English in general, as well as passing these proficiency tests. Okay? Work hard on it. You deserve it. You want to be able to communicate with everybody here when you do get here. For those of you who go to Germany to study or to France, you become so good at the language. Why is it for English you think, oh, I don't need to be great at it, and I just need to be borderline okay, and I'm going to pass a test? For those of you who have traveled to Germany to study, I know for a fact you are very proficient in the language. Those of you who go to France and other countries to study, I know that you pass their local tests beautifully. Okay? So try and be fair about the whole situation and let's go. So before I get into a few demonstrations, I want to go through a few basic points about the two fill in the blanks question types. Beginning with the no BS basics. You need to know that in my books, these question types are the equal fourth most important question types out of the 20 questions. Unlike tests like IELTS, where each question type yields an equal and fair single point, PTE likes to mess with your heads and places importance on different questions to assess English proficiency. This is not fair, but you have chosen this test, so you have to accept their terms. Believe me when I say it's really important. So how does it work? So reading and writing contributes about 25% to the final score of your writing score and 29% of your final reading score. Whereas the other question type, which is for just reading, it contributes up to 20% of your final reading score. So let's compare these two question types, shall we? For reading fill in the blanks, texts can be up to 80 words long. I find that it's best tackled using grammar skills and collocation knowledge. There are 3 to 5 word blanks and 6 to 8 word options to choose from. There will be 3 words from the word options that will not be used at all. Now answers are dragged and dropped into blanks. For reading and writing fill in the blanks, texts can be up to 300 words long. These questions are best tackled by skimming the text, scanning for key ideas, and understanding the context, followed by choosing the most contextually and grammatically appropriate word. Now I'll get down to that in a second. But basically, if it sounds wrong, it's wrong, and you need to figure that out. And your English level needs to be at that strength where you quickly can decide if something sounds a little bit wrong. So there will be up to 5 answer options in each drop-down box. Right, so here's the technique. Your main thing, especially with me, if I'm going to be your tutor, is if it sounds wrong, it probably is wrong. First step is to skim all sentences. The next step is to intensively read part of or the whole sentence containing the blank. Next, you follow the flow to get the best possible answer. the first thing I need to do, even before you look at your answer options, whether it's the drag and drop boxes or the drop down list, is to make an assumption. Your English language command needs to be strong enough that when you read something, your mind automatically wants to fill in the blank. So that's called an assumption. Next, elimination. Look at the options and go, you know what? These are the options and it doesn't match what I assumed. I'm going to pick something else. If you still can't figure that out, the next thing you do is the most logical sounding option. And this is where your basic vocabulary and collocation needs to come into play. If it sounds wrong, it is wrong. When you look at a sentence and you can feel it is wrong, you know it's wrong. If you still can't find the answer at the end of these 3 steps, just guess. My best advice is to narrow it down to 2 best options and then guess. Don't sit on it for minute after minute, wasting time. Don't dwell. Move on and don't waste time. So now let's address the elephant in the room. What language skills and knowledge is needed to ace fill in the blank question types? First things first, all right? This is the absolute most important. Basic English grammar. I cannot stress this enough. It's an English test. You need to have the basics first. The next thing you need is some amount of knowledge of commonly used phrasal verbs and collocations. What are collocations and phrasal verbs? These phrases are groups of 2 or more words that work together in a way that sounds correct to people who have spoken the language all of their lives, but might not be expected from the meaning. For example, we say, make a mistake instead of do a mistake. See, you can hear that it doesn't sound right. Or we do our homework instead of saying something that doesn't sound quite right, like I write my homework. No, you do your homework. Okay? So the next thing you need is basic vocabulary. Well, I wouldn't say basic. If you're aiming for a 79 and above, your vocabulary has to be quite extensive. It's really important because being able to understand or at least closely guess the meaning of words is so important. You can expand your vocabulary and collocation by reading, not practicing the test. Stop doing mock tests. Stop doing practice tests. Just start reading English texts from all sources. The more you read, the better your grammar, the better your collocation, and of course, the wider your vocabulary. Simples. So now that you know that you need to have knowledge in grammar, common collocations, and vocabulary, what skills do you need? Right? The main skills needed are reading skills. Reading speed and comprehension, meaning how fast you can go through a text and understand the general idea of both of it are both very important. The faster you read, the quicker you will be able to go through the reading section of the test. The better your basic comprehension, the more accurate your answers will be. Alrighty then, so it's time for a demonstration. Let's go through a few fill-in-the-blank questions for both categories. I will see you in a minute. All right, friends, so here I am at my ApeUni dashboard. Today I won't be using Alpha PTE because let's just face it, I don't want to pay for membership for both of these things. I'm just going to pay for one. Okay, let's start off with reading fill in the blanks, shall we? Now remember, your first thing is to skim, okay? Get a basic understanding. Your next is to start making assumptions, okay? Fill in the blanks yourself with your own brain before looking at the options. Then, elimination. This doesn't sound right, this doesn't work here. Finally, logic. And then if we really can't figure it out, let's guess these questions together. Let's do it together. All right, let's start off with an easy one. Over here it says easy, wristwatch. Okay, look at the timer, check how long we spend on it. Look at all these options that we have on the bottom. Right. The wristwatch works by dash information, such as a person's pulse or movement. I'm going to say recording or detecting. When it detects a change in a person's health, the watch sends information to a touchscreen hub located in the home, maybe. The hub then fills in predetermined context and calls for help immediately. Maybe. All right, so now let's look at this. The wristwatch works by tracking. Okay, the reason I chose tracking is because over here I said detects. There we go. When it detects a change in a person's health, the watch sends information to a touchscreen hub Located? We guessed it. That's right. You can guess it, my friends. You can do this. The hub then something alerts, predetermined contacts and calls for help immediately. Okay? So let's submit that, see how we did. How did we go? I didn't even check how long we spent. Damn it. I didn't check how long we spent on this question. Let's see how we did. Of course, the internet's slow. I'm happy with that, 4 out of 4, but that was an easy one, okay? The next one might be a lot harder. So remember, this is reading only. Up to 20% of your reading score is going to come from these. Okay, so let's do the next one. Next one is Mercury, medium. Look at the timer. Let's start reading it together. Skim, make an assumption, eliminate the wrong answers, go by logic, and finally guess. Okay, it's getting harder, so I'm going to probably have to guess as well at some point. Mercury is not found in many common products that we buy because it can be very dangerous. The most common products that contain mercury are batteries. See, I'm going to just straight away guess it's contain. Okay? Powerful outdoor lights, disinfectants, and thermometers, which are used to measure our body's temperature. It can also be found in barometers, which are used to measure air pressure and detect changes in weather. I'm going to say detect or show, and thermostats, which gauge the temperature of buildings. Mercury can also be found in printer and photocopy toners. Right. So let's look at, we've got fix, cover, constrain, regulate, contain, show. I'm going to put this right here, contain, because that's what I said in the first. The first word I said was the most common products that contain. See, that was the power of assumption. I'm going to assume the answer. Mercury batteries. Next, it can also be found in barometers, okay, which is pressure, measure air pressure, and show changes in weather, and thermostats, which regulate. A thermostat regulates the temperature. Let's check it. So I'm going to submit that. We spent less than a minute and a half on this, and that you shouldn't spend more than that. All right. I understand some of them might be really hard. I get that. But if you follow the steps, assume the answer first because you have great knowledge, great grammar. All right. Happy with that? Great knowledge, great grammar. Next, eliminate the ones that are definitely wrong. Third, go by logic. If it sounds logical, that might be the answers. And finally, if you really can't, don't waste time. Guess, guess, guess. All right, let's move on to something worse or even harder. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Ooh, this one's nice and long, my friends. It's a hard one, okay? For lots of first year students, the university may be their first experience living away from home for an extended period. It is a break from home. In my point of view, this is the best thing that you can do. I know you have to fend for yourself, cook and clean after yourself, basically after yourself without your parents. But the truth is, in some time in your life, you're going to have to part with lovely mommy and daddy. But they are only just a phone call away, and it is really good to have some quality time without them. The first few weeks can be a daunting period, a challenging period. We'll see what our options are later. There may be concerns about forming the friendship. That's grammatically incorrect. It obviously was not written by a native English speaker. When new students look around, it may seem that everyone is self confident and already successful, maybe. The reality is that everyone has the same concerns. Increased personal freedom can feel both wonderful and frightening, maybe, scary. Students can come and go as they choose with no one to hassle them. The strange environment with new kinds of procedures and new people can create the sense of being of an emotional roller coaster. This is normal and to be expected. You meet so many more people in the halls than if you stayed at home. The main points about living away from home are no parents. You don't have to tell them where you're going, who you're going with, what time you'll be coming, why you're going, etc. You learn various social skills. You have to get along with your roommates. Living with them can present special, sometimes intense problems. Negotiating respect of personal property, personal space, sleep, and relaxation needs can be a complex task. The complexity increases when roommates are of different cultures or backgrounds. Okay, do I see that? There we go. Whoa, there we've got backgrounds with very different values. I'm just going to chuck that in because you know what? I put in with very different values. It is unrealistic to expect that roommates will be best mates, best friends, meaningful new relationships. So there's nothing here. There is nothing here. No more. I'm not going to bother reading it. Okay. For an extended, let's look for extended. There we are. It is a timely break from home. So I'm going to say this is a guess because I might be wrong. In my point of view, this is the best thing you can do. The first few weeks can be a lonely period. So there's lonely because it's concerns about friendship, the friendship, right? And natural, exciting, socially successful. So these I'm guessing, right? That's logic. It can't be natural, successful, doesn't make grammatical sense. It can't be exciting, successful. Again, natural, exciting, frightening, not grammatically correct. Easily successful doesn't make logical sense. Extra successful, maybe. Definite, no. Socially sounds like my answer. The reality is that everyone has the same concerns. Increased personal freedom can feel both wonderful and, well, I haven't used frightening. Okay, students are come and go. All right. I'm just going to see. You can read through it one last time. We've spent quite a bit of time. Let's just submit. Ooh, fingers crossed, because this was rather challenging. I'm not entirely sure. The time is still running. Oh, I've done it before. 5 out of 6. Again, so I've done it before. Timely, exciting. So what are the correct answers? Extended, definite. No. All right. Lonely, socially frightening, backgrounds. Okay, so timely and exciting. Both times I've done it, it's been wrong. But that's okay. So if I'm going to go, 5 out of 6 each time, it's not that bad. Especially since you've got how many of these questions, right? Let's do another one, okay? We'll do 4 of reading and then we'll do 4 of reading and writing. Okay, so this is another hard one. Fingers crossed. I have done it before. Let's not do it then. Let's not do an easy one. Herbal. Have I done herbal? Nope, I haven't done it. All right. Okay, so remember the first steps is assumption. Let's read it through, skim really quickly. Your reading speed really matters. A herbal is a book of plants describing their appearance. Again, there's a mistake. Their properties and how they may be used for preparing ointments and medicines. The medical use of plants is documented on fragments of papyrus and clay tablets from ancient Egypt, Samaria, and China that date back 5,000 years, but document traditions far older still. Over 700 Hermod remedies were detailed in the Papyrus Ebers, an Egyptian text written in 1500 BC. Around 65 BC, a Greek physician called Dioscorides wrote a herbal that was translated into Latin and Arabic, known as De Materia Medica. It became the most influential work on medicinal plants in both Christian and Islamic worlds till the late 17th century. An illustrated manuscript copy of the text made in Constantinople, which is modern day Istanbul, from the 6th century. I don't know. I'll have to guess the answer later. The first printed herbals date from the dawn of European printing in 1480s. They provided valuable information for apothecaries, whose job was to make pills and potions prescribed by physicians. So I'm just already guessing. In the next century, landmark herbals were produced by William Turner. There's no more. Okay, so the medical use of plants is recorded on fragments. Okay. An illustrated manuscript survives from. All right. I'm just going to try, okay? Don't waste time. We've already spent almost 2 minutes on it. It's pretty slow internet. Sorry, friends. All right. I'm very happy with that. As you can see, I did take a minute to really look at the questions, at the blanks. First step is immediate assumption. What I would logically put in that sentence is what I'm going to search for later on. That's the level of English command you need to be at, where you can make an assumption, followed by elimination. If it doesn't make grammatical or logical sense, chuck it out. Okay? And finally, the fourth step, when in doubt, guess and move on. All right, so I will see you in a minute for reading, writing, fill in the blanks, which is a drop down list, which very much so grammar and basic logic comes into play. All right, see you in a minute, friends. All right, friends, so here we are. I have zoomed in a little bit because I understand that there's a solid chance you guys can't read what I'm putting out on the screen, especially for those of you who are studying on your phone. Please stop doing that. Stop sitting on your bottoms and watching YouTube videos. Get to work. Okay, so let's do lunar lander. All right, have I done this before? No, I have not. Okay, so timer's over here. Drop down answers are over here. Remember, the first thing I'm going to do is make an assumption. Okay, then I'm going to start really reading it properly. More than 50 years after the last human landing on the moon, a new robotic explorer is on its way to attempt a historic something, touching down near the lunar South Pole. Historic feat, attempt or feat. The Odysseus lunar lander, nicknamed OD, was launched early Thursday morning by NASA and Intuitive Machines, a Houston based company. The spacecraft is approximately, roughly, see, you can guess it, my friends. You look at it, you make an assumption, and then you do the matching answer. The size of a telephone booth and carries a camera system, an original sculpture, and several science and technology experiments. The mission aims to land at a site that has never been explored before, where the sun barely rises above the horizon. Maybe. There we go. There it is. And the temperatures are extremely cold. The landing site is also of interest because it may contain water ice, a valuable resource for future lunar missions. Odie is named after. There we go. It's a collocation. The Greek hero Odysseus, who faced many challenges and adventures on his journey home after the Trojan War. The Landers team hopes that Odie will also overcome the adversities or challenges and dangers of space exploration. Obstacles. There we go. Let's try it. So I've done all answers. Make sure. Let's see. Let's just submit. Move quickly. Don't dwell on it too much. I'm happy with my 5 out of 5. Are you happy with my 5 out of 5? Let's go. So remember, assumption, then you go by elimination, things that are definitely wrong, then you go by logic, and the final thing you do is to guess and move on. Don't dwell. But make sure you fill in an answer for every single thing. That at least will guarantee that you might get it right. If you leave it empty, it's a guarantee that you're getting it wrong. Let's go to the next one, shall we? Next. All right, Mother's Day. Have I done it before? No, I have not done it before. The origins of Mother's Day as a modern celebration can be traced back to the early 20th century in the United States. Based on the efforts of Anna Jarvis, as a result, or thanks to the efforts of Anna Jarvis. Following the death of her mother, Anne Reeves Jarvis, in 1905, Anna sought to honor her mother's legacy and sacrifices mothers make for their children. Made. You see? That's just a grammar thing. Anne Reeves Jarvis had previously established Mother's Day work clubs to address public health issues and reconcile Union and Confederate neighbors during the Civil War. Inspired by her mother's work, Anna Jarvis worked for the establishment or fought for the establishment, campaigned for the establishment. Do you see? I had made my own assumption and then I put in my something that's closest to my assumption. Her efforts bore fruit when President Woodrow Wilson officially declared the second Sunday in May. There it is. There it is, my friend. The second Sunday in May is Mother's Day in 1914. Initially a day of personal celebration and religious observance, Mother's Day quickly became commercialized, a development that Anna Jarvis strongly opposed. Vehemently, you see that? All right, so have I answered all of them? Am I happy? Yes, I am, because we didn't even go past the first step, which was assumption, followed by matching meaning and logic. Okay? I never had to guess. But fingers crossed I got them all right because I'm moving pretty quickly. We spent less than a minute and a half. All right, I'm happy with that. Let's do another one, my friends. Remember my system, okay? Please, please, please. You're only as good as your actual English command. Dry lips. Easy. Let's see. Dry lips are a common problem that can have various causes, including nutrient deficiencies. There we are. medications, weather, and other factors. Some of the nutrients that are essential for healthy lips are B vitamins, zinc, iron, and water. There's no lack of, a loss of this deficiency, a lack of. You see, look at that. You can guess it, my friends. I just had to make an assumption, a guess, and then I look for the matching thing. All right? If we get stuck, that's when we do the other steps. However, dry lips may also indicate a more serious condition, such as hypervitaminosis A, cheilitis, or dehydration. If dry lips persist or worsen, thank you very much. Over time, it is advisable to see a healthcare provider for diagnosis and treatment. A healthcare provider can determine the underlying cause of dry lips and prescribe appropriate medication or treatment. Or supplements. All right. Dry lips may also require special care, such as avoiding licking, biting, or picking the lips, using non irritating, fragrance free lip products. By following these tips, one can keep their lips moisturized, soft, and healthy. Moist and healthy. You see that? All I had to do was make my assumptions first and then look for the answer. Let's see how we go. Fingers crossed, because actually, this is the easy one. You don't want to make a mistake on the easy ones. How long did we take? Less than a minute and a half. And of course, the internet's a little bit dodgy. 5 out of 5 again. And let's do one last one. Remember the system, my friends. Skim the text. Intensively read around the sentences which have the blanks. Then you do your assumption first. You fill it in first in your head so that you get an appropriate meaning for words and an idea of the kind of words that would suit. Then you do elimination. Then you do logic. And finally, you guess. Let's do one. Hopefully, the next one is a hard one. And maybe I might make a mistake. Who knows? We'll find out. Oh, Nostradamus. Have I done it before? I have not done it before, my friends. Let's go. One of the most interesting and often cited predictions attributed to Nostradamus was the year. Involves the year 1999. In one of his quatrains, Nostradamus predicted that in the year 1999, the seventh month, from the sky will come a great king of terror to bring back to life the great king of the Mongols. Many interpreted this as a prophecy predicting a catastrophic event or the end of the world in July 1999, possibly a nuclear apocalypse or a catastrophic or terrible asteroid or a rogue or a devastating. Oh, no, I don't want you. No. Devastating. All right. However, in July 1999 came and went without any such cataclysmic events. Critics and scholars argue that this prediction, like many of Nostradamus' quatrains, is vague and subject to wide subject interpretation, which has led to numerous speculative and incorrect claims about his foresight into future events. This particular prophecy showcases the complexities and challenging in interpreting Nostradamus' work, as well as the human penchant for finding meaning. As well as, look at that, my friends. You see, your brain will fill in the blanks. Use your power of assumption first. And how do you develop the power of assumption? You have good knowledge in English. All right, 4 out of 4. That's it, my friends. Let me. Righto, guys. So there you have it. The system works, but the system is heavily based on you actually improving your overall English command, you expanding your vocabulary, and you getting some knowledge on phrasal verbs and collocations and words that native English speakers put together that make sense. Okay? So something has to make sense. There we go. That's a collocation, to make sense. All right. So thank you so much for being here today. As I said, follow the steps. Step 1 is to skim really quickly, then intensively read around the blanks, and then make your assumptions. Fill in the blanks yourself first, and then eliminate answers that are definitely wrong, followed by choose an answer that sounds logically correct. And the 4th step is to guess. And when you guess, please guess out of 2, not guess out of 5, because that just doesn't make sense. Narrow it down. Fill in an answer, don't leave it blank, and move on. Don't dwell. All right, so thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of you. Share this with somebody who you think might find my system helpful. I know I'm not going to be as popular as some of the other tutors who are big on teaching you how to hack the system and such things. But thank you so much for being here, and good luck to everyone. See ya. Bye.